Welcome to Chatting the Pictures. My name is Cara Finnegan, and I'm a writer, teacher, and historian of photography.
And I'm Michael Shaw. I'm a writer, a psychologist, and also publisher of Reading the Pictures.
The targeting of maternity hospitals in Russian assaults on Ukraine truly crystallizes the barbarous nature and criminal tactics of Vladimir Putin. And these spaces have been a key focus of media coverage.
This photo was taken by Nicole Tung for Harpers. In the image, we see a couple measuring the time between contractions in the makeshift bunker of a maternity hospital in Kyiv on March 2, 2022.
This is a very different kind of conflict photograph, isn't it? It's not full of crowds. It's intimate, it's quiet, and the photographer's choice to use black and white in this space, lit only by what appears to be natural light plus the light of that cell phone, these choices really amplify that sense of intimacy and quietude.
The visceral and fundamental focus on life and death is really the underpinnings of this photograph. The pensiveness of this woman's body language, the fact that this couple is sitting on the ground and she's in the corner. The picture itself is really visceral. And then it's remarkable how maternity has been such a dominant visual theme in this war so far.
In this photograph, I think we're immediately drawn to the woman's face, and then we're drawn to that gaze over to her partner who is timing her contractions. Her face to me reads as quiet, but full of anxiety and probably more than a little fear. And what's really striking to me is that this is a moment that would be scary or uncertain for any expecting parents, even in what we might call normal times. But that anxiety and fear is, of course, amplified by what we, the viewers, know about the danger of their surroundings. And the phone is a really interesting subject of this photograph as well, because it's being used to time the contractions. And, that's a really individual, personal thing at this moment. This is something that this couple is doing together to try to figure out how best to help their baby into the world in this terrible situation. But at the same time, of course, the phone is a literal lifeline for everybody, right? Following the news, knowing when and where to get to shelter, communicating with friends and relatives. The phone has this really interesting set of jobs, you could say, in this image.
I think it's also striking how balanced and sympathetic this photo is in terms of gender. When men are taking up arms and women and children are leaving the country, with Putin the model of male dominance, you can see that in the way they're holding hands. They're literally in sync. Again, I think it amplifies how the country of Ukraine is also that bonded and unified.
This image really needs to be contextualized in the context of other photographs that we've seen of women, including pregnant women and children and babies sheltering underground in hospitals. The World Health Organization reports that there have been nearly 20 attacks on health facilities and ambulances during this conflict. So I think part of the reason why we're seeing a lot of images of these spaces is that these spaces are extremely threatened. This photo was made in Kyiv, but elsewhere in the city of Mariupol, a Russian airstrike left a blast crater more than 2 stories deep at a maternity hospital. And many of us saw an incredibly affecting photograph of an injured pregnant woman being carried out of the rubble on a stretcher. We later learned both she and her baby died. So what Tung's photo's doing here in this very intimate, quiet moment, when contextualized in this incredibly dangerous atmosphere, lends this photograph, I think, a timeliness, even as it also offers us something very timeless.